Hello, welcome to Cool Discussions. Today we're going to be talking about stupid people. Now, we all have known stupid people throughout our entire lives.
Maybe some of you view us as stupid.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who knows? We haven't heard anything, so we can't assume you think we're stupid.
We're the smartest people in the world because nobody tells us. No, just kidding. I'm far.
Our significant others tell us we're stupid all the time, so we know we're not the smartest people in the world.
Now, we're not really. Well, I guess we are talking about stupid people, but we're talking about just how it seems like people. Well, in my eyes, people. I do a lot more of shaking my head at the world and at customer service and interactions with people and yeah,
exactly right there. It's the when you go into society. Okay, YouTube is a great example. You go on there and you watch these people in these fail videos. They're funny, they're amusing, and they get millions of views, and then you get these people that do stupid things, and they get millions of views, and then you
like eat the world's hottest pepper and stuff their faces with food and then puke and stuff like that. And I go,
yeah,
it's funny to a point. Like one of these videos is funny, but then after that I go, well, why do I want to watch you throw up, or why do I want to watch you bash your head? And
yeah, it's kind of disheartening. I don't know whether or not it's a side effect of aging, because we are both getting older, and maybe we're like the old people that people complain about. It's like, oh, in my generation, or
now
in
you're
my
probably
time.
thinking that we're sour because we don't got, as you can see, we don't got a lot of views happening yet. There is, and for me, there's no sourness whatsoever.
No,
I'm not jealous of people who vlog or blog or glog or jog or wog or whatever. Not whatsoever. You know what I mean? I just look at.
I applaud the fact that these people can get views.
I
like
applaud
this,
that they're
and
successful.
Great. Good for you.
They built their brand. They've built their business.
Yeah.
On the back from nothing.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're trying to do right now. We have a camera, a microphone, and that's it, and a computer, and we just are trying to organically grow. Yeah. Right now we're doing it for fun. And
later on, if we hit 1.5 billion views, we're still doing it for fun. We just don't have to work full time.
Exactly. You'll see more of our faces. Ooh, that's scary.
Is that a threat?
That's right. It is a threat. I just find that human interaction now, it seems very. I don't. It's hard to explain. It's hard to describe nowadays, with how social media is and how like everybody's very two-faced and very two-sided.
Okay, even before social media, people were still two-faced and two-sided.
But it's more apparent now.
Yes, it is. I kind of agree with that. It's, if you're talking about neutral subjects like sports, you can get along with somebody quite easily if you're talking about TV.
But when you get into politics and religion, that's when it's like...
Yeah, it's the sense of... Maybe this is because, we just think one way and think everybody should think our way. It's like, I don't. I think one way. I love hearing what other people have to say about how. And I love exploring the... Why do you think that way?
Yeah.
What do you have a sense of? Why do you do this? Maybe I brought this up in another video. I honestly don't remember. Sometimes the conversation's blurred, but it's like, I asked a guy, it's like, oh, why do you believe this? And it's like, oh, I watched this video. And I'm like, well, I watched that video too. And it's like he came to a completely different conclusion than I did. And it's just kind of like, oh, why'd you do that? The exploring of how people think is, I guess you could say, a passion of mine. I love doing that. I like to know why.
And I think that's what's lacking a lot in especially the younger generation is that they don't like to. Maybe I was the same way when I was younger. We think one way and we think we're right. I probably thought.
I think it's generally assumed that when you're young, you're invincible.
Yeah,
and you know everything. Not even close.
I guess we're getting older. That's what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, is this
a product of age?
Yeah. Are we thinking that people are stupid because we're getting older? Or have people always been stupid and we just been
Realize
stupid
it.
with them?
Yeah. And now we're going, wow, not so much.
Yeah,
You know?
it's... blah.
This is what I mean. This is what we think about about like society today. When you're dealing with somebody, the way that sometimes people talk, you just kind of go, do you realize what you're saying? Like, is there a filter? It seems like people don't have a lot of filters. They don't.
Donald Trump is actually a really good example of this.
He thinks unfortunately, he thinks like a lot of people.
Well, he connects with a lot of people
Yes.
because he talks plainly.
He doesn't talk like a politician.
Exactly. Lately in the news, there's been a lot of talk about what he said in behind closed doors in a locker room talk, and people are saying it's like, oh, he said, oh, it's locker room talk, and then people are immediately going, no, it's not. That's not the way people talk in the locker rooms. And they've had a couple sports people show up and say, oh, that's not the way we talk in locker rooms.
Well, what else are they going to say? They're not going to say that they talk about grabbing pussy in locker rooms, even though they do sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, in your situation, have you ever had a bunch of men sitting around?
Even women talk like this too, grabbing dick. But
I've never actually heard a woman talk like that.
Well, because
not to my face, anyways. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. Men start talking and vulgar conversations pop up. Yeah, and I'm sorry. This is kind of the way that normal people do talk.
Mm-hmm.
So are they stupid? Not necessarily. It's more a matter of they feel normal, relaxed, at ease. So they can talk like this. When you speak like a politician, you know you're being watched, you know you're being monitored, and you have to watch what you say so you don't say anything even though you just spoke for the past 20 minutes.
It almost seems that people get offended now when you're like, hey, you should do it this way. And you're like, well, no, I'm going to do it my way. And it's like, okay, whatever. Don't listen. When, I've done it. I don't get offended. But it's like, I just feel that when you give your opinion and it's not the same as somebody else's, it's like they get mad at you and they get offended because you don't think the same way. And you're like, well, I don't have to think the same way as you. I don't have to.
No. There's a guy that I antagonize. I don't do it on purpose. I just want to have conversations with him. And it can be, I guess, maybe antagonistic at times, but I've had him at some point in times go, no, I don't agree with you. We're done talking. And it's just like, well, that's a great way to cock-block somebody.
Well, in a sense, yeah. Like, it's like, it just shows that how close-minded people can be and how... Maybe we're close-minded. I'd like to think that I'm not. I'd like to think that I have a little bit of intelligence behind this beautiful face. But when I talk to other people and I go, sometimes, have you ever met somebody where you go, how do you tie your shoes in the morning?
Okay.
Have we all? I'm just sure everybody has.
We have, and I got a story or two that I kind of want to share. This is the stupid people part. Like, when I first started working at this place, I noticed that my tape measure wasn't measuring properly, right? So it was broken. I needed a new one. I go talk to my boss. I need a new tape measure. And he's like, show me. I'm like, okay, I've had this happen before. It's not a big deal. You show somebody that it doesn't work, and they know it doesn't work. So I come down. He comes down to the saws. I show him tape measure and measures. Like, see, it's not working. It's out. And he's like, do you have a cloth? I'm like, okay. Hand him a cloth. Takes the tape measure. Jerks it off. He cleans it, right? And he goes, there you go. It's good. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's not the way you fix a tape measure.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay,
did it fix it?
No. He cleaned it. It made it easier to read. But it didn't fix the fact that it was off. Because on a tape measure, that you have that little clip in the front. And it moves ever so slightly, right? But as the tape measure becomes worn, it moves more.
Yeah.
So that affects, it can be
an inch off or an eighth of an inch, half
an eighth
inch.
of an inch, a 16th of an inch. When you're talking about precision cuts,
Yeah.
a 16th of an inch is a huge deal. So when you have somebody go and do that to you and go, cleans it and go, here you go, it's done.
And I guarantee you that person who cleaned it looked at you and went, man, you're stupid.
Yeah. And, okay, I've never done that aspect of the job before, but it's kind of like, I know that when something's broken, you don't clean it.
Yeah.
Now,
Maybe
okay, no. I had a guy, he found a little mini motorbike in the garbage once, right? And, he took it home. He couldn't get it to work, so he took the engine apart, he cleaned it, re-oiled it and stuff like that. In a situation like that, yes, you cleaned it, and it worked again. But, when you take apart an engine and clean it, you're actually doing good. You're getting rid of the grease,
Yeah.
you're getting rid of the grime. On a tape measure, if you clean it, it makes it easier to see the numbers, yes, which I wasn't having a problem doing.
I could read the numbers.
Yeah, I know the number isn't the way it's supposed to be. Another guy I worked with, he says, okay, I showed him, it's like, and then he showed me a little technique. It's called burn an inch. I'm like, burn an inch? I've never heard of it. And it's like, you take it, you measure it from the 1 inch point so you don't have that little moving part, and you go there and see if it measures the same as it is when you're using the moving part. And if it's out, it's out. And he got me a new tape measure. It was great, but it's just like, this is the first time that I had to talk to my boss about a broken thing, and this is how he responds. Now, I thought, okay, this is just a one-time thing, right? He doesn't know. He was just faking. I don't know. I just like, okay, whatever. I'll move on. Unfortunately, I've learned that he's stupid. He's one of those people where, how do you tie your shoe? How did you get this far in life? I feel bad for you. I actually feel bad for the people that work with him, because it's kind of like, we have to work with you.
He's your boss?
Yeah, he's my boss right now.
Hopefully he's not watching the video.
I doubt it. If he does, he won't figure out it's him.
Now he will, because you just
Nope,
said it was.
he still won't.
Wow, that's bad. That's bad. I just find, like, when you, even in customer service, when you interact with somebody at, a job and stuff like that, or when you go into a place and you're like, oh, hey, can you help me with this? It's just, people don't take it seriously. I know it's hard to take a fast food job seriously. It's just an entry-level job.
It is mind-numbingly tedious at
even
times.
It just seems like everybody's just trying to push you through, and it's like, hey, how are you? And it's like, sometimes I've interacted with people and, like, I'll answer the phone, blah, 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 Barry speaking, oh, hey, blah, blah, and it's not even, it's completely opposite somebody, and you're like, did you even listen to what I was saying?
There's been a time where I picked up the phone and went, hello, this is Boston Pizza Memorial. No, Falconridge. No, Beddington. Memorial? And the guy's like, do you know which one you are? Hold on 1 second, let me think about that. This is Boston Pizza Memorial.
This is
How
somewhere.
can I help you?
This
Chris
is somewhere.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, are you sure it's Memorial? It's like, yes, sorry.
We've all done stupid things. We've all stuck our foot in our mouths and stuff like that, but it just seems, again, it's probably because we're older, but it just seems more and more that it's like, even people who are older than me, I look at it and go, wow, okay. Maybe I just need to apply myself more. Maybe I don't. I think things come to me too easily sometimes. I find things very easily, so I don't take, not easy, so I don't take them as serious sometimes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, well, that's simple. And I'm like, when I should stop and go, it is simple, but I should still take it seriously. And you know what I mean?
More of one of those things of, you have a problem, it's easy to you, so you don't take it seriously, even though for other people it's incredibly difficult, and they have to take it seriously because it's difficult.
Exactly. Yes, that's a better way to put it. Is that when I look at a problem, I can solve it like that, and I go, well, it's easy to do this, right? Like I've helped, it's like computer problems, like, and I go, okay, just do this, right? And I just fix it, and then the person doesn't know how I fixed it, and they go, well, now you screwed it up, and it's like, well, I haven't screwed it up, I've just changed it, so your file automatically saves to this part, and you don't have to go through this. I took a step out. Yes. That confuses the person, and it's like, to me, they've said to me a couple times, well, you're really good at computers, and I'm like, no, this is just all basic stuff. To me, it's basic, like knowing how to put a formula into Excel, knowing how to use Microsoft Office, stuff like that. To me, that's very simple. Knowing how to navigate the internet, know how to use the Google, knowing where to go, knowing the right question to ask. It seems very simple to me. And when somebody else, maybe it's happened to me where I've come across dumb, where I'm like, well, I don't get that, and it's like, well, it's simple, it's easy, and it's like, well,
yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know, and can you show me?
But there is a problem with that. Because when you say I don't know how to do something, people look at you and go,
yeah, it's actually very true. It's kind of like, a lot of people, like where I work, is a lot of people understand mechanics of cars. It's like,
I don't. I'm like, what?
And people will go, it's like, you don't know this? No. Did nobody teach you?
No.
Why? Did somebody teach you? It's like, yeah. And it's like, well,
there
congratulations.
You go. That's why. It's like, and I feel bad for like the younger generation. I really do. I feel like because we've bubble wrapped them. I was having a conversation with somebody one day, and he said his kid doesn't have a work ethic. He's a 17-year-old kid. He doesn't have a job. And all I can think is like, well, do you buy him cigarettes, right? I don't say anything because I don't want to start like an argument. You know what I mean? And I go, I think, like you buy him his cigarettes. You are part of the problem. Am I part of the problem with my child? Of course I am. Because I give my kid stuff when I know I shouldn't sometimes. I let him do things that I know that I should be a little bit harder on, right? But I just do it. I have no idea why I do it. Because sometimes you just don't want to deal with the shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I know that I'm part of the problem, but I think a lot of people have issues with admitting their shortcomings. Because, well, I know how to do this. It's like, okay, well, show me. And then they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I run into that a lot. It's kind of like, oh, how would you solve this problem? I was like, well, I just would. Well, can you tell me how? It's like, and then I walk away, and it's just like, well...
Yeah, you never told me how, yeah.
I'm asking, because I don't know, and I want to know how. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you got to fix something.
What am I fixing, and why am I fixing it? How am I fixing it?
Well, okay, I have to maintain the saws as best as I can, right? So it's like, oh, you got to fix it. It's like, okay, realize that I've never fixed stuff like this before. Yeah. So if I break it,
somebody's gonna have to tell me how to fix it.
Yeah, and for the most part, they don't. So it's kind of like whenever the saw repair guy actually does come in, I'm like, how do you fix this? How do you do this? Can you show me this?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
See, and the guy's awesome.
Like, every once in a while, you meet people who are like that. It's like when you talk to them, you're like, oh, okay, and you gain knowledge from these people. And there's occasionally people you meet and you go, you absolutely, there was no value to you having that conversation with me whatsoever. And I think that's what we're talking about here, is these people who their conversations, they just don't, there's no value to them because they're so like this. They're just like this. They're just basic, square. They are the typical, here's your cardboard cutout of an individual that mass society should be. And you go, well, for me, that's,
And again, it's one of those things of personal responsibility. It's like you could be that cardboard cutout person, and you could be quite content doing that. Fine, whatever, that's what you want to do. But a lot of people aren't content. So,
I think that's what I have the problem is that I'm not content being a cardboard cutout. I do not want to be that.
No.
And I look at when people are content, I go, why? How are you content? How can you just swallow the masses off the cliff? Yeah. You know what I mean? How can you do that? How can you be okay with that? You know what I mean? And maybe that's a telling about me as a person. Maybe I am high on myself.
Maybe you psychologist and psychiatrist, because you can both do the same thing. Maybe you pegged us into a square hole. It's fine. It might be round, but I'm sure because if you have psychiatry training, you probably know a little bit better about it than either one of us. And that's fine. You can peg us. We all judge people when we meet people.
Definitely.
That's why your first impression is the basic impression. Mm-hmm. That's how you plaster somebody for a period of time. Now, it could be a lifetime, or you can end up knowing the person and realizing, I might have put him as a square peg in a round hole when I should have made him a triangle instead. So
we all do. We all judge people. We're all judgmental. Every single person.
Every single person is. It's
just very hard. Like, it's been very, very difficult over the past little while. When I look at the news, when I look at the world and I go, I just kind of go, I shake my head and I facepalm a lot and go,
I just have to look at the people I work with right now.
And I just go, oh my goodness. And I think maybe some self-reflection has to happen. And I think maybe I should stop looking at other people and going, how are you so successful? And maybe look at myself and go, why? What can I do for myself to be more successful?
Sure enough.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so maybe I let that get away, and that's why this video is going to be here, is because, and maybe it's good, maybe it'll help. But it's just very, like, for me, I look and I go, and sometimes people give me their opinion and I go, I can't believe you think that way.
And that's the thing. You have to remember, some people do think that way. Now, all opinions aren't equal. Some
and they're just
are
that,
better
they're
than
opinions.
others. Exactly. And you can literally go, how do you think like that?
I had somebody tell me once that the only reason people aren't successful, or the only reason for you not to be successful, would be a physical disability. So the only reason that you're not successful is because you're lazy. And I kind of went, you really think that? And I kind of went, this person really thinks that. Like, the only thing holding you back from achieving the greatness is a physical disability. And I went, wow. I kind of stopped and I went, there's no talking to this person. There's no, I don't want to change the person's mind. I'm not wanting to do that. And this person, he's to me, he's an intelligent person. He's an intelligent individual. But having somebody say that is like, wow. We were talking about how everybody likes to blame the rich for the world's problems and stuff like that. And he's very, I think he comes from an elitist view. I'll call it that. And it was like, we should be celebrating these people. They create jobs and stuff like that. And I agree to a point.
Yep.
I do agree to a point, but I think there's a point where you have to stop that. And his mentality was it was like, what is that guy? Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, the bald guy?
Oh, yeah.
He said this pretty much the same thing. Everybody has the opportunity to be successful. And and even the news anchor went, really? You think that way? And I agree. It's just amazing to hear somebody. It's very disheartening to hear that. You know what I mean? And I think that it kind of made me go, wow. You think that people aren't successful, or people can be successful no matter what. Go educate yourself. Go, well, I can't go be a doctor because I don't meet the guidelines to be a doctor. I can't do that.
I could read the manuals and text all
but
I want.
I wouldn't be able to do it because my ceiling is below a doctor. I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. I'm not. And I know that. But to sit there and say that, you can be a doctor, you can do whatever you want.
No. You have to realize that everybody has limitations. And the strongest strength that you can have
is knowing your limitations.
Is knowing what your limitations are.
My view was, everybody who works a 40-hour week should be able to provide the basic necessities of life.
I'm not going to argue too much with that.
And his counter was, anybody work harder. And I went, but what if your ceiling is a fry cook at McDonald's? That's what your intelligent level allows you to do. Mm-hmm. And I went, wow, there's people who really think like that.
Well, I think his point might have been, oh, well, if your ceiling's a fry cook, that means you get a second job and working 80 hours a week to make more money. And it's like,
I don't agree with that. I think I had to think, I know tons of immigrants who come here, and I'm like, and I know I've seen tons of examples of the other way. It's like, like there's more the other way than there is the good way, the success way. And it's very, to me, it's very disheartening. It's very like that a lot of elite people, that 1% probably think that way. I did it. How come you can't? And it's like, well, look back at your life. Yes, did you work hard? I'm not taking that away.
No.
Absolutely. These people worked their asses off and they gave up a lot. They sacrificed a lot. But I just wonder if everybody does have that opportunity. And if you really believe that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think everybody has that opportunity. I don't know. I just went off there on...
No, that's okay. You've ranted about opportunity before. So, it's... Yeah, stupid people.
Do they exist?
Do they exist? Yes, they do. Just look at YouTube. You can see plenty of examples. But you got to give credit to the smart people too, because there are people out there that are willing to go, well, you don't understand? Okay, I'll help you.
We got to quit making stupid people famous. Hey, maybe that's why we're not famous. The world has decided with us right here. There's not making stupid people famous anymore. Great! You could have stopped one after us. Damn you people. Man.
Thanks for listening. Too bad it was a little late.
Damn it. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share. This video was a little bit weird, but that's okay. Because we're just a couple of dudes who probably...
That's what this platform's for.
That's
to
right.
Be a little bit weird.
Because I'm sure that you've, maybe with a close friend, you've had a conversation like this. You know what I mean? Where you're like, how are these other people... What are they doing?
How do they tie their shoes in the morning?
And they seem farther ahead, and I'm going... And that's why I just had a self-reflection moment right here on YouTube of I need to stop thinking about them and think about what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
And focusing on what I can control. Not worrying about the guy who can't tie his shoes. I don't know, fuck.
And on that note,
we're gonna go and
do whatever we need to do.
Try to think of better ideas for next week.
Yes. And if you got any ideas, put them in the comments below so that we might actually talk about them later on, because we can't always think about great ideas.
That's right. As you saw with this last.
Yes. So thanks for listening. Thanks for giving us your time. And we will see you next week.